Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
Everyone, it's July 31st, 2018. I'm here at One Bad Apple. Entire police department suspended. Multiple cops charged with conspiracy. Cop opens fire near busy family park, kills unarmed man for walking toward him. What could go wrong? This one's happening in the UK. Of course it's the UK. What a bunch of fucking cucks. But what could go wrong? Government to house sex offenders in fenceless building next to children's school. That's the ultimate metaphor for the government right there. Mainstream journalists tracked missile casings used by Al-Qaeda, and they all came from U.S. bases. Police say handcuffed teen shot herself in the head in a traffic stop. Witnesses on video say otherwise. As VA continues to hook veterans on dangerous opiates, local growers offer them free cannabis. And lastly, to fight bee die-off, state now offering citizens their own beehives, and that's in Virginia. If you live in Virginia, you can get beehive and all the shit to go with it. But let's look at this one. Mainstream journalists tracked missile casings used by Al-Qaeda, and they came from U.S. bases. All of them. Well, are you gonna... Oh, it's still loading. Alright. Who's this coming from? It just says by the Free Thought Project. Finally, a journalist for a mainstream UK media outlet is methodically tracking weapons shipment serial numbers and English language paperwork recovered from Al-Qaeda groups in Syria, and he's literally showing up at arms facilities and questioning arms dealers, including officials at the Saudi embassy in London, asking why are your weapons in the hands of terrorists. Veteran Middle East war correspondent Robert Fisk recently published a bombshell report entitled, "I traced missile casings in Syria back to their original sellers, so it's time for the West to reveal who they sell arms to." You gotta wonder if this guy's gonna end up dead now. In it, Fisk recalls a bit of detective sleuthing he's lately been engaged in after stumbling upon a batch of missile casings and shipment paperwork last year hidden in what he describes as the basement of a bombed-out Islamist base in eastern Aleppo, with the words, "Hughes Aircraft Company guided missile surface attack," emblazoned on the side of the spent tubes. It seems that we in America could use some of this equipment ourselves. Of course, the Syrian government recaptured the area from the Islamist insurgents, including al-Nusra terrorists and their allies, in December of 2016, and has made rapid gains throughout the country's east and south since. And Fisk has been trekking around the country to see what he can find. His detective story, as he calls it, actually seems to solicit the help of the public and begins as follows. Readers, a small detective story. Note down this number, MFG BGM 71E-1B. And this number, stock number 1410-01-300-0254, and this code DAA A01C-0292. I found all these numbers printed on the side of a spent missile casing lying in the basement of a bombed-out Islamicist base in eastern Aleppo last year. At the top were the words, Hughes Aircraft Company, founded in California back in the 1930s by the infamous Howard Hughes and sold in 1997 to Raytheon, the massive U.S. defense contractor whose profits last year came to $23.5 billion, or 18 billion euros. Shareholders included the Bank of America, the Deutsche Bank. Raytheon's Middle Eastern office can be found in Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates, Israel, Egypt, Turkey, and Kuwait. There are dozens of other used-up identical missile casings in the same underground room in the ruins of eastern Aleppo with sequential coding. In other words, these anti-armor missiles known as known in the trade as TOWs, tube launch, optically tracked, and wire guided missiles. A prior spent missile tube in Syria with Hughes Aircraft Company listed as manufacturer, which surfaced in 2014, not part of the same batch of weapons analyzed in Fisk's report. Notice the attempt to scratch off the serial numbers via Armament Research Services. The past year especially has been an uptick in such systematic attempts to trace foreign supplied weapons on the Syrian battlefield, most of them recovered from internationally designated terrorist groups, even ISIS, back to their original points. We previously detailed a number of these reports. For example, journalists interrogated, fired for story linked to CIA and Syria weapons fights, as well as weapons went from the CIA to ISIS in less than 2 months, the latter based on extensive arms tracking and field forensics research produced by Conflict Armament Research. So this is, proof that our wonderful government is supplying these weapons to these terrorists. Of course, we pretty much already knew that, but it's a little different when you have proof. It's, But, while ISIS or Al-Qaeda, their leader, gets to enjoy using YouTube, I get banned or a community guideline strike for exposing these kinds of things, for talking about these kinds of things. Makes you wonder whose side they're on. Anyway, I thought I would share these headlines and this particular article with you. Hope you all have a great day. Remember, kill the state before the state kills you.